It's here. It's here.
What's here?
My article. It's come out online.
What does it say?
Okay, I've only read the headline. Local hero bravely takes on corporate giant.
Ooh, not a bad start.
Okay, keep going.
No, I'm too nervous. I can't read it. You read
Oh,
it.
okay. All right. Okay. Has corporate heavyweight Stunning Organics met its match in local Aussie battler Marilyn Chambers?
Yes.
With help from her friends Ruth and Alf Stewart,
Yes, Ruth, we're famous.
Miss Chambers uncovered evidence of corporate wrongdoing, bullying and cover-ups on a massive scale.
So far, so good.
Oh, and there's a quote from you. Corporations think they can walk all over the little people, which is why we need to fight back.
Oh, it's pretty inspiring stuff, Marilyn.
You know what? This whole thing is a huge victory.
That rotten company is finally getting everything it deserves.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
You're only as good as your strongest member.
Or your weakest member, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Did I get that wrong?
I think you're only as good as your weakest. Because if you're as good as your strongest, you're very good, aren't you?
Super good. How are you? You okay?
I'm good. Yeah, I've had a week and a half of it, but yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to talk about Homers. How are you?
Not too shabby, thanks. I think we've already had a bit of a chin wag.
Yeah.
We've offloaded. I'm ready for a good night. Are you?
Yes, I need it. I need a chin wag.
The
And a
Malbec
laugh.
helps.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
What are we on tonight? What are we on?
What have I got?
What have we got your end?
I've got Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc, can or bottle?
The can, obviously.
Oh yeah. Any other way now? Is there any other way?
Is there any, I can't have a bottle because I'll drink it and it's too much. So I'm trying to limit myself by having a can. Classy.
Oh, give it over.
Classy.
It's become our thing. Are you up to date on Home and Away?
I am. Yes.
Fabulous. I'm fresh from the pub.
Are you?
Couple of Malbecs in me.
Oh dear.
Ready for it. I've got some things to say, Sophie. I hope you
Oh,
have.
let me put my seatbelt on. Hang on a minute. Right, I'm strapped in now. Come on.
Fab. Ready for your headlines?
I am.
Andrew is convinced to go with his mum Esther after she arrives in the bay to collect him. She's picking him up. Tane's found Kahu on his wee little boat out there, but wants to hold his hand back to New Zealand. Marilyn starts to receive threats and even a brick through the old window there. And Marley's birthday party causes a bit of a stir at the apartment as Rosie's invite seems to get lost in the post.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
Right, we join this week. Homer's Monday. Kirby is not happy. You'll remember that Theo voted against her on that vote, and we were dissecting this to his nth degree on last week's episode. You know, we thought Kirby was out of order. She was being a bit of a bob. You know, the relationship should be separated from the band business, but there's more to it, isn't there? You know, Kirby and Theo haven't been seen eye to eye on a number of levels, and I think this just sort of brought it to the surface, didn't it? Eden tries to talk to her, offers her her ear, you know, ear to bend, and Kirby even says to her things like, you know, we're always used to be on the same page, and now we're not. Are we growing apart? It's that kind of conversation she's having with a friend, isn't she?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, Kirby was acting, I don't know about you, in my opinion, at this bit, she was acting a little bit Neanderthal. Like she was tearing around town in a right mood, talking to anyone and everyone apart from Theo. And I'm thinking, you need to sit down with the poor fella and be like, I'm upset. We've been arguing. We've not been seeing eye to eye. What's going on? Like, what is this between us? Like an adult. But
Yeah.
instead, she's ignoring Remy. She don't want to talk to him because it was his idea. She's ignoring, having a go at Eden. She's ignoring Theo. I mean, Justin, bless him, he's oblivious.
What album?
Well, yeah. Actually, what actually makes things move along is Bree and Remy having a chat, and Bree's saying to him, you need to sort this out between the two of you. No competition is worth this, losing a friendship over or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So he does eventually manage to sit her down, and fair dues to Remy, man. I thought he came good here. He apologised to her, and she does come out. And in the end, after all that, she's happy with the Battle of the Bands plan. What the hell's going on?
I don't know. Do you feel like this has just come out of nowhere? Because I didn't really know that Theo and Kirby were on the rocks until that comment that he made last week saying, "Oh, you've been spending a lot of time with Marilyn," and she was like, "Well, you've been spending a lot of time with Andrew." I didn't know there was a problem in Paradise until then. Did you?
No, completely left field, isn't it? It's come out of nowhere. Yeah.
But then
In
they're
fact,
saying, "Oh, we always argue," and I'm like, "Since when?"
I know. In fact, we've even accused them of being in their own little bubble, separate from the Bay. Like they need to do other things. I wonder whether someone's thought we've written these into a corner, and now we need to split them up or cause something because where do we go now? I wonder if you do wonder, don't you?
Makes sense that because they've got to do something with them. So as you've been saying, like we've said this a few times, that Kirby doesn't really have anybody outside of Lyric, outside of Theo. She got the Gina job for a bit and she's managing to get scenes with Marilyn now, but it's been a year since she's been on screen, and this is the first time that she's interacting with anybody that's not her boyfriend or her bandmates, really, isn't it? So you're right, maybe this is their idea of sort of branching her out a bit, but it's just fallen a bit flat for me because I'm like, I don't know where this has come from. Am I supposed to believe that they've been arguing for ages? I don't know. And like you say, she's acting like a child, isn't she, really? And expecting him to have the same opinion as her. I mean, that does happen in relationships. You have different ideas about something. You can't both think exactly the same. He's got his own brain. And for her to just dictate to him, you should have voted the same way as me, you should think the same way as me, and I'm really offended that you don't think the same as me. I think that's quite childish. People are allowed to have their own.
I do. In fact, I would celebrate it. Yeah, I would celebrate it in a relationship. Be your own person and stand up for what you believe in. You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to be?
Yeah, they could do it nicely though, couldn't they? He doesn't have to stomp around and say, "Well, this is my idea, and I don't think you're right," or blah blah blah. He could sit her down and say, "Well, this is why I've come to the conclusion that the Battle of Bands is a good thing," and she could say, "Well, this is why I don't think it's a good thing," and then they can see it from each other's point of view, and maybe one of them would change their mind. Obviously she has done, but they're not having that dialogue. She's just going, "Oh, you didn't go with my idea, and I'm really offended." I'm like, that's really childish.
Are we heading for a split, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know where we go because it's come out of nowhere. Is it just going to go away as quickly as it's come, or is this? I don't know, because we've been talking about for ages how the band haven't been that popular. Looking on what we can see on social media, not everybody, like I say, people are more quick to say what they don't like and not as quick to say what they are enjoying. So you see a lot of negative things about Lyric, don't you, and not a huge amount of positive, although there is some positive stuff. But because that massive backlash happened when they joined, and they were probably writing these episodes back then, have they decided to suddenly write the band out because it was a bad idea? I don't know.
Yeah. It feels a bit like it could be one or two ways for me. Like, oh shit, like we've written Eden and Remy quite good and they've got good stories. These two, what do we do with them? We need to do something with them. And let's split them up and try and do something else with them. Or it's a bit like there's something you and I aren't aware of yet. that's coming, and we need
Yeah.
to do this in order for something else that's about to happen. I don't know. It
Like a
feels
third
very,
party turning up, you mean,
yeah, something's coming down the line that's a bit like that's going to test them.
Ooh.
And we need to know that they're not as strong as we think.
Yeah.
Personally, because at the minute it feels all a little unnecessary. Like, are we bothered? You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to affect anybody else.
No.
Nobody else is affected, other than, I suppose, the band dynamic, if it affects the band,
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think
that's
we
the
had
only
that
real thing.
conversation a while ago, didn't we? When they first got together and they were trying to keep it quiet to start with. And I think you and I had loads of conversations about, well, what if they argue? What if they end up like Bob and she did? And the band are caught in the middle. Dating someone and working with them is not necessarily a good idea. Especially when you've got other people that are relying on both of you to be there. If one of them decides to go off in a Mardy or quit or whatever, it affects everybody in the band, not just those two.
Of course it does. Yeah.
So to have arguments and to be breaking up, potentially that's the end of the band as well. I mean, he's the singer, she's the songwriter. They're not just turning up and looking pretty at the back, are they?
No,
I don't
yeah,
know.
that's true. Yeah.
I don't know where we're going.
Quite irreplaceable. Hopefully we're going somewhere, and it's not just for the sake. Let's say that. Let's leave it on that. I tell you where Theo is going though, down to the cop shop with Cash, because Cash takes him down there after learning about what he's been doing online. And he's received a couple of messages, hasn't he, of his pleas about Andrew on the internet and his disappearance thing that he was keeping a little bit low key because he didn't want to let anybody down. And Cash is a little bit like, Vita Nova probably know all about this page. You need to redirect everything to me now. You could have been interfering with a police investigation, all sounding quite serious. And he says you need to tell Justin as well while you're at it what you've been up to.
Yeah, I'd have done that first, maybe, but never mind. It's home and away. Well, Jenny.
I know. Yeah, Jenny. I was thinking at this point, oh God, we tell Justin now, we're going to get Justin's hopes up, because at this point, everyone's a bit like, where's the mum? We need to find the mum. Poor Andrew's got no mum and he can't read. But
it's all a bit
like it was all a bit like that, wasn't it, at this stage?
Yeah.
And I did enjoy, just as much as watching Andrew discover the beach, I did enjoy him and Leah reading that book.
I enjoyed the cake making bit because it was making me very hungry.
Oh yeah, it was. Oh, it did look good, didn't it?
I wanted a cake so bad from that episode. I was like, damn it, I don't want to make one.
I know, every time. I did. Do you ever think, like Leah for a living, what she does? She makes cakes and things for a living and massacres. Do you ever think she gets home and thinks, I don't want to make a cake, I'm just going to go and buy one?
I would, but I think she genuinely enjoys cooking, doesn't she? Whereas I absolutely hate cooking. I cook because if I didn't, I wouldn't eat. You know what I mean? I think for her, it's like it's a passion, isn't it? So I don't know. Is it different? I don't know.
She's whipping out the eggs and the flour on standby. I'm thinking, you've just done that for 9 hours. 9 hours at the diner.
I know. It's mad.
Not for me. Not for me.
No.
Yeah, Betty Crocker, that bad boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Betty Crocker. The icing.
Add water.
Oh, I don't even buy the cake. I just buy the icing tub and just eat that with a spoon.
It is good, isn't it? It is good.
It's so good. Anyway.
And while all this is happening and they're making cakes and learning to read, Esther, Andrew's mum of all people, has just walked right into ICPD. I think you might have found my son.
Would you believe it?
What?
Can you Adam and Eve it? Unbelievable, some might say.
Absolutely. The suspicions were there right at the start, I think. And doing the tweet along this week, you'll contest to this. Everyone's spidey senses are up. Who is this woman and why is she saying that she's his mum? She might be at this anyway. And all believed very well. You know,
Mm.
it seems like Cash has taken the story hook, line, and sinker.
Mm.
Very quickly takes him round there. It takes her round there. To be reconciled with her long lost son at 4 years old. And he hasn't got a clue who she is. Like this must be so stressful for anybody in this situation. Like I don't remember this woman. She thought the cult had took him. That's the story, isn't it? And she's been looking for him ever since. And you're just thinking, I've not been looking hard enough, love. There was nothing about you online. She's asking him things like, do you remember me? You know, like, this is a lot for anybody, let alone somebody in Andrew's sort of vulnerable situation and the kind of life he's had to try and even comprehend this. I completely understood why he was really standoffish.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it must be terrifying especially if you can't remember. I'd imagine.
And he was like, "Why didn't she come and get me sooner?" And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
that very legitimate thing to ask. You
Yeah.
would ask that. And Justin sort of takes him out back to the beach. Lovely scenes. I'll always go on about them. And Justin sort of talks him round, doesn't he? She loves you. Give her a go, mate. This is going to be difficult for all involved. He actually overhears a conversation that I think changes his mind, doesn't it, between Justin and Leah when they think he's out of earshot.
Yeah.
And Justin's like, I don't know what I would do if it was my son.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, where is your son? But, yeah.
That kind of guilted him into going with her, didn't it, really? Because they were saying, like, oh, I think Leah was saying, if it was my kid, I don't know how it would feel. And I think Justin said, if they don't make a connection, Esther's going to be absolutely gutted. So he heard all of that. And, he's, like we say, he's got the developmental age of an 8-year-old. So all he's thinking is, I don't want to upset my mum.
Yeah.
So
he's sort of obliged
he's not
to,
thinking
isn't
of
he?
himself. Yeah. It's a bit sad, really, isn't it? I felt really sorry for him in that scene.
I did. My heart was melting. It really was. It was a really sad scene. So he reluctantly agrees to go with it because they've had dinner and everything, haven't they? And he's just not feeling it. There's just no connection. He reluctantly agrees the next day. I mean, is that going to happen right away?
I'm so shocked by this. I mean, we'll come on to it on Your Say on the Bay because nobody's believing this, but the fact that she turned up at the police station and said, I'm his mum, and then within half an hour she was round there meeting him. Andrew's had no prep, he's had no counselling, he's not been told your mum's alive and we found her and she wants to meet you. It's just like, oh, here he is. It's just ridiculous. The poor kid is traumatized, and then you bring his dead mum to meet him without any warning. It's just bizarre.
Oh yeah, because he's been led to believe she's died.
Yeah,
he has been having cancer. He's definitely been meeting a social worker, hasn't he?
He has, but I just don't. I think it's for someone who's been through an obvious amount of mental and emotional trauma. I think just her popping in like, hello, love, it's me from 14 years ago. I just think it's weird.
Cut me a slice of cake. Yeah.
I just don't think that would happen. And without, like, everyone else, I'll tell you later, everyone on Your Say on the Bay saying it, but without any real checks. I mean, she's got a driver's license or whatever it was with her name and her photo on, but that's it. We've not had any DNA tests. We've not had, a real background check on where has she been? There were no questions like, what have you been doing?
No.
Where have you been?
No interview that we saw.
No.
And she didn't know who Ted was.
No.
I mean, red flags.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah. Didn't know who Ted was. That to me was like, hello, Leah, Justin, do you want me to bang your heads together? Like, and I saw a few comments online. That was the night I was tweeting. And I saw a few comments on the evening like, hello, she doesn't know the name of his lifelong teddy. That's the only thing he remembers from his childhood, so very important to him. She doesn't know the name of the teddy. Come on.
And she would hold
come
on to
on.
it. She would absolutely hold on to that, and it would be treasured. I mean, my mum, I'm nearly 40, and my mum can name all the teddy bears I had when I was a kid. She can remember
Yeah.
them better than I can. You know, if I went to her and said, "Who's Fred?" she'd go, "Oh, the teddy bear that you had when you were 3 or whatever."
Hey, and I've seen these pictures now of you,
Oh yeah, me as a
3
child.
years
Yeah.
old.
Cute, right? What happened?
So you're right. You're right. A
Bizarre.
mum whose missing child of 4 years old would know that stuff, right? So
absolutely.
immediately, as the audience, we're like, no, not having a bar of this, not having a bar of it.
Mm.
And right we were,
Yeah.
because you talk about checks. Before we know it, Cash is getting the task force in, going, what the hell? We found the sister, Tegan. Is it?
Tegan. We love a Tegan on Home and Away. I'm sure this is like the 4th Tegan.
Love a Tegan. Tegan's come forward and is like, no. No.
Yeah. Nuh-uh.
And the task force are like, what you doing? You're not even doing proper ID checks. That ID was a load of crap. That's not the right name. What the hell? Cash, how he's not lost his job or at least been suspended, I don't know. He's only been removed from the case. That's all that's happened so far. Get that guy suspended. Like, you're ruining lives here, pal. He's now got to admit, hasn't he? This was in tonight's 5-star, which I was rushing through after the pub. He's now got to admit, look, and he has to bring Justin in, doesn't he, and say, look, that woman that we sent Andrew off with is not his mum. And Justin, in a few words, flips his lid.
Flips the table.
Well, remember where you are, remember where you are, remember where you are.
Remember you're a remember you're a criminal. Yeah.
Faranga, I'm thinking, oh, let's get Justin locked up because he's like done his Hulk move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all kicking off, wasn't it? You can't blame Justin. How could you do this? How could you not check her properly? We had dinner with her. Like, where is he? What's going on? He's really grown an attachment to Andrew, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Rose has tried to comfort him a bit, like, I'd run the same ID check. Okay. Yeah, but we know what crap you are, Rose, at policing.
It's no comfort.
You know, actually, if you'd have both left the task force to it, we might not have been here. You know, is what I was thinking. So now we know Andrew's out there somewhere with this woman. We suspect is from Vita Nova, I'm assuming. I mean, I know I did. Did you?
Absolutely. I mean, who else would it be? Really?
We did get a glimpse of Vita Nova in action.
We did. Yeah, it doesn't look fun, does it?
No, he's picking up tires and he's doing a punishment exercises.
Yeah, it looks like boot camp, doesn't it? But like, ugh.
And there's all propaganda being played out over this tannoy and the CCTV. And so we got our first glimpse of the cult or commune or something, and there was no swimming in sight.
No, there's no private pool, no swimming pool. Oh dear.
Do you think this is going down the way you thought, Sophie? What do you think of this? Do you think this is... We sort of suspected Andrew was connected with the cult somehow. For me, there's still a load of questions, like, why did she want him back there? We know she's not happy that he's give, outsiders information about the cult. But that's all we know. And I'm thinking, who is she then? And what is her relationship with Andrew? Why is Andrew connected with the cult? Or, where's his dad? Well, we know his dad's died, but what was the connection there? I want to know all that stuff. And I'm a bit like, okay, why was she desperate to get him back? Is where I'm sitting with this right now.
I think, I mean, I've got the same questions as you, and I've got questions, and I've got kind of half-baked theories running around my head. And I don't know whether any of it's absolute tosh. I've no idea. But that question you've just said, why does she want him back? I think it is just because he's been talking and he's shone a spotlight on this cult, and he's been in talking to cops and stuff, which obviously he was terrified of Cash and talking to Cash and said, a couple of weeks ago, you asked too many questions. I'm not talking to the copper. Don't trust him. So he's been brought up to not trust the cops. That's got to have come from, his dad, I'd imagine,
Yeah.
if his dad's part of the cult. So I think she just wants him back so that he can't say anything else. I don't think she necessarily wants him. I don't necessarily think that he's useful to her. We'll have to see. But I think it's just to keep him close so that he can't say anymore. And, he said all he can do. I don't know. But then I've got a nagging feeling that his dad isn't the baddie. I can't explain it. It's only one thing that he said. When Cash was saying, "Oh, your dad kidnapped you, and your mum you're a missing person. Your mum reported you missing," and Andrew went really quiet, and then he got really angry, and he was like saying to Justin, "My dad loves me. He's done all this to protect me. He wouldn't do this." So that's what made me think, well, maybe that's true, because you could say that to someone that you're abusing and say, "I'm doing this because I love you and doing it because it's the right thing to do," and actually that's a lie, but it's just brainwashing. Or he could genuinely be doing it because Andrew was in danger from his mum. So I'm like, maybe the mum's the baddie. But then the fact that the mum's still missing, because Cash says, this Tegan girl that's his sister, they've been in contact with her, and she hasn't been in contact with her mum for 10 years, no contact with her, doesn't even know where she is.
Yeah.
Is she in the cult? Is she dead? Because, we've heard from Andrew that some men came to the house and told his dad that his mum's dead. And Cash said, well, she can't be because there's no death certificate. Yeah, but if they murdered him, buried him in a mine shaft, they wouldn't have a death certificate, would they?
No,
my
that's true.
brain's just like, I'm like all over the place. I'm like, the dad's the baddie, the mum's the baddie, the mum's been murdered, the mum's in the cult. I just don't know. I've got so many questions and so many thoughts.
I'm inclined to agree with you a little bit here. I think the dad might have tried to get him out and has taken him to this safe house.
But it doesn't explain the men, does it? That's what I can't.
Well,
what do you think?
He said, I had to be out the way when the men came. Do you remember?
Yeah, but who were they?
Well, who were they? Yeah, were they from this Vita Nova?
Yeah.
And were they in on it? Were they aware that Andrew was there?
Or did they run away from the cult like his dad did, and they'd made their own little support group?
Is he talking to outsiders? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many questions there. I'm inclined at the moment, with what little info we've got to go off, I'm thinking the same as you. I think Dad has saved him out of it. I don't know whether Mum is in the cult or not. I've not really considered it. But if she's been missing for 10 years, chances are she's in this cult, isn't she?
Either that or she's, dead in a ditch somewhere, buried alive or whatever. I don't know.
Well, the one and the same, aren't they, really? At this stage. Interesting either way, a story that I need to know more about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely got a lot of questions here, and poor Andrew is now back in the grasp. And if Andrew were, see, what I'm thinking is, if Andrew was familiar with the cult, he would have recognised her.
Yeah,
because she's
true.
Margot
Defoe. Which made me laugh, because when they said it, Margot Defoe in French means false.
False, yeah.
So I was like, Margot the false. I'm sorry.
I was thinking the same thing.
LOL.
Yeah.
It's a good name. But
it is a good name.
I think, didn't Cash say that she is the leader of Vita Nova? So what if the dad was connected to the cult? Surely the leader would know Andrew and his dad.
Exactly, and there's a probably, and I know Andrew is 4, but there's a good chance he might recognise her if she. And would the leader be going out doing the dirty work, collecting? No, but maybe strays who are talking.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
Would she not just send some heavies to do it? Do you know what I mean?
Unless she doesn't trust anybody to do it, and she's like, well, I'll do it myself, because I don't know.
This is why cult stories are so good, because
they are good. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Jules the Jules. So, so I am super looking forward to next week. I'm expecting some kickoffs. I'm expecting kiss my feet.
Maybe he does remember, but he doesn't remembers it, because what I'm thinking is
not saying anything though.
Because I don't think he realizes. I think maybe he does, because he had funny feelings about her. He was off with her the whole time that she was in the house. He wasn't getting good vibes off her, but I think he's not emotionally mature enough to be able to express
Yeah.
how he's feeling. So maybe
Yeah,
he's just like
possibly.
inside is thinking this woman's giving me the creeps, but I've got no idea why. But maybe it's because subconsciously he does remember her from running away from the cult or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
There's
Yeah.
something more to it, I think.
Because there's part of me is a bit like, why is he obeying her? Like, why is
Yeah.
he not just telling her to rack off? Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, he seems intimidated by her. And I think it's
Yeah.
maybe it's a subconscious thing. Maybe he realizes this woman's bad news, but if I don't go along with what she's doing, it's going to be bad for me. But he doesn't really remember why. I don't know. Maybe we're reading too much into it, and he just doesn't know who she is. But I've just got this feeling because he was off with her all week, wasn't he? Like he's not.
Yeah.
Even with Cash, he wasn't that standoffish with him, and he didn't like cops. So he's been really
there's
wary
something
of her.
there.
Yeah.
And he was right. Obviously, it turns out he was right to be.
Yeah.
But I've so many questions that's just making me like, come on, Monday.
I know, and now we've seen the compound, and we've seen these scary guys with the crossbows, which are not Robin Hood crossbows after all. They're quite scary looking, aren't they? They look a bit far right extremist kind of guys, don't they? With these,
they do
scary.
This is good stuff. This is good gear.
It ain't no Kevin Costner in tights, is it?
I gotta say, don't talk about Kevin Spacey right now.
No, not Kevin Spacey.
I know. It's just because you said Kevin.
Kevin Costner.
Right. Meanwhile, back in the bay, away from the compound, away from all of Andrew's trouble that we're so invested in. You might be invested in it, actually. I'm sort of preempting your response here, but Kahu's still on his boat.
Yep.
I struggled with this. Right. James Bond's arrived, as you put it.
Yeah.
James Tani. The name is Parata. Tani Parata.
He suits a boat. He suits a speedboat. He looked good in the speedboat.
There's not much that fella doesn't suit, really, let's face it.
Damn it.
So he comes along on his speedboat, so we've rented another boat now to get to him, right? This credit card's going a while. What are you doing here? I could ask you the same thing.
Oh my god, it was like Tani was in the room. That was scary.
I've told myself I'm not going to sing on this pod because I've noticed I've been singing. So it's that our impressions.
I like both. I love it when you serenade me. Go on. The blue little window.
I just die inside. Like, Tani wants some answers. He's demanding those answers. Tells him, take the credit card and get off the boat. And he's like, it's my boat now.
Yeah.
I paid for it. Like, and you are going to talk to me whether you like it or not. And I just felt like this went on and on and on. It might have been like 2 episodes, but I felt like they were on this boat for absolutely ages trying to get him to talk. And he comes out with the usual spiel. Why you won't believe me. You need to tell your mum the truth. Please don't make me tell her. It'll ruin her. Well, it can't be as bad as all the debt you've made her getting for you. Blah, 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 blah. Same conversation, different scenery. For me, I don't know about you. I don't know. I don't understand why we had to steal a boat.
No, I think we just had to steal a boat just to be somewhere pretty on location and just to show the pure audacity of this guy. The fact that he will steal someone's credit card. He's already in debt. He's sunk a boat somewhere at the bottom of some marina, and yet he will steal his cousin's credit card, the only person in the world that's currently helping him, and get another boat. So, like I said last week, he could have, he had nowhere to go. I can sympathise with him to that extent. He had nowhere to go, and desperate times call for desperate measures. I wouldn't do it, but he could have took some money to rent a hotel room while he worked out where he was going to go next. Yeah. But no, he rented a whole boat. I mean, I think it just proves to us as the audience that this guy's just a massive douchebag. I think that's all it was for. And then we had some lovely scenery, to look at with Tani.
At the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was it. I don't think there was anything more to it than that. I think it was quite shallow, but
And it ends
Yeah.
up probably somewhere where Tanya didn't want to go in an ultimatum.
mm,
You know, you can either talk to me and sort this out, or I'm going to tell my brother-in-law, who is a copper, that you stole my credit card. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, really?
yeah.
Really? This is what we were building up to. Like,
Mm,
I was really not
Yeah.
into this. Really not into this at all.
no, it's bizarre.
And in the end, he agrees to speak to his mum, but Tanya says, I'm going to come with you and make sure you do it. Really? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to send Flick a text to tell her. Like, is it just me? Like, this was just ridiculous.
It was. I know. I'm feeling the same. It started to feel a little bit like the Gabe thing again. You know, they just brought this guy in for a handful of episodes, and now, like, what's the point? I don't know. I don't really get it. I don't get why he's
I told
not
you
going to
what
be
the point
permanent.
was. It was to get Xander a new job.
That's true. Xander has now got a bar job, and he possibly could have a job in the gym, I guess. I just don't get it.
I don't. And now Tane's holding his hand, paying for his airfare.
Yeah,
Tane's a mug, man.
to be fair, if I was Tane, I would want this guy back in New Zealand. Even though he owes me money, I just think having him around is bad news. I'd probably write off that money he's stolen and just be like, right, just draw a line under it. I'm never going to see that money again. I don't want him living in my house, working in my business with access to my accounts. I want him gone, back in his mum's house. I don't know. I think I would have frog marched him out as a country as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd have put him on Ryanair though if I'm paying.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, you are not having a meal.
Yeah.
And you can have a carry-on. Carry-on only.
I don't think he needs it. He had a little rucksack, didn't he?
You've had everything else off.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have took him away. I'd have made sure he was back in his own house, I think.
And you don't even think about speedy boarding. Cheeky
Yeah.
shit.
No airport pint for you. No Weatherspoons pint. No Mackie D's breakfast on the plane.
And of course, we've now got to contend with Felicity minus Tane pining away. Like, is that going to become a thing, do you think? Because I don't think I'm in the mood for that either.
Yeah, or is this opening up a storyline for her while he's not here? Something that's going to happen, some drama's going to happen that she's going to get embroiled into. I don't know. She's not the only one that's disappeared. He's not the only one that's disappeared this week, because we've heard Leah's disappeared to her sick mother-in-law. And I was like, which one? Which mother-in-law? She's got like 4, hasn't she?
That was bizarre.
That was weird. So obviously something's going to happen with Justin and with Flick, not necessarily the same storyline, but because their partners are away, and we're being told this by the use of a text message and the use of a phone call. I'm like, something's kicking off here with these two, I think.
Where's everyone going?
And obviously Alf's going to Merimbula, because that's been mentioned twice. He hasn't been for 6 months. Has he? So, yeah, I've got this feeling that we've got something big coming up, but I don't know what it is.
Well, talking about something big coming up when you least expect it.
Jinkers. Sorry. Oh dear. One of them days, I'm sorry.
I can't even.
A long week.
I can't even make that fit into the next story. So it's just stand alone.
Oh dear.
Rue's got onto the Coastal News about an interview from us.
Oh yes. Yes, Tanya's been dealing with that, hasn't she? Bless her.
Coastal News, Klaxon. Yeah. Tanya, our silent partner.
Colleague and partner, yes.
Phone interview. She says, I stood up because I can't sleep at night knowing that these bullies doing this to other people. And I was expecting a bit of a right up here, like painting Maz out to be a right one, you know. But actually, the article was quite good, you know, in the Coastal News. It was
very
on.
Erin Brockovich, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
it very in Marilyn's favour. But it wasn't too bad. So until Marilyn then received the most hilarious voicemail. I don't even know. I don't even know how we're going to describe this.
I had something when I was a kid. I think it was my brother or me. I don't know. One of us got for Christmas a voice changer thing. Have you ever seen them? They were like a toy that was in Argos in the 90s. And it was like a microphone attached to this thing that you could record on. And it had like buttons on the side. You could either make your voice go really squeaky, or you could make it sound like that voice on the phone call. You know, that sort of, it sounds like a voice that's been distorted slightly. And we used to ring people up. This is really bad, but we used to ring people up and put that voice changer to them. One of us would be listening and the other one would be saying things. And then we just die laughing and hang up. Sorry, Mum. Hopefully she's not listening. But yeah, that's what we used to do. We used to use a voice changer and do prank calls with it because it was the funniest thing ever. But that's because we were like 12, you know. This is obviously, if it is studying organics, it's quite funny. But
yeah, it's hilarious.
Very strange.
If it's studying organics, using a voice changer application to be like, stop talking to the press.
It's funny.
I fell off the couch laughing. I was like, what is that?
I love it. It just reminded me of the voice changer thing. I'm gonna have to see if there's any pictures of it online because it was the funniest thing in the world. I remember. I know I should actually. I'm not going to tell you this on air. I was going to tell you a story about a prank call, but I'm not going to tell you on air. I'm going to leave it.
Go on.
No.
No, Nelly. Go on.
No, I'll tell you later.
Go on. No, go on. We're not moving on to you. Change the names.
I can't. I'll have to tell you later.
Fine. Well, listeners, you'll have to subscribe to our Patreon or something. Last set pay. I'm only kidding. Now
we're free.
This doesn't put the willies up Maz, doesn't it?
I know. I'm not surprised because she is quite a nervous little soul, isn't she? A lot of the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And it's not just threatening her, it's threatening her and her friends, because obviously we know from Rue reading out the Coastal News, Tanya, thank you very much for taking that article off our hands because we were very busy this week. But we know that she's name checked Rue and Alf in that article. So you know, the voice changer man said, and your friends too, ha ha ha, or whatever, didn't he? I don't know. I can't remember what he said exactly.
Sorry, it's the funniest thing. I'll get you, my pretty.
Your little dog too. Thank God she hasn't got a little dog. Jeepers. Yeah.
She does tell Rue about it. She plays it to Rue, so we have to hear it again.
Oh, dear.
And then they go to the Popo, don't they? And they report it. Now, Rose says, yeah, absolutely fine, dead serious. I can trace the number. I can't believe they've even left caller ID. Like, you know, but you need to be vigilant. Like somebody's obviously threatened you. You know, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maz is like panicking, like, I regret doing this interview. Why did I even do it? I can't believe you made me talk to the press, blah, 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 blah. And now we did correctly guess, didn't we, last week on First Look that the press were involved. Now, it turns out after Rose has run the numbers that it was a spoofed number, something, wasn't it? Like, it wasn't, the number belonged to somebody else. This is a very sophisticated attack. Like, this is someone who knows what they're doing. This isn't some chance. It's not someone with their Argos recorder playing pranks. Like, this is somebody with some serious intent. So, puts the willies up her again, doesn't it? And and she's hiding. Don't tell Mr. Stewart, he'll delay his trip, and I don't want to worry him. And Rue's like, we need, Maz, we need to sort this out. She's trying to convince Alf to get out of the bay early so that he's safe. And I'm thinking, this is all a bit. He smells a rat, doesn't he? But he keeps falling for it. He's not quite worked out she's concealing this, and
he
she
thinks
says,
it's about the trolls because in that article
Yeah,
online, she
yeah.
got loads of troll messages, didn't she,
True.
saying like,
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were saying now, but like they were just having a go at her, weren't they? And he thinks that she's upset by the strangers that are basically leaving nasty comments online.
Yeah,
Which
that's true.
that's legitimate because if the phone call thing wasn't happening, she probably would be worried about that. But I think she can't even think about that because the phone call thing is worse, isn't it? So I wouldn't be surprised if those comments were from Stunning Organics. They're just spoofing accounts and writing those things to try and
bots and things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fake accounts and all the rest of it. It sounds like they're very nasty people. We've said that before. Like, you're playing with fire. And then she does the bizarre thing of saying, I'll lock up on my own tonight at the diner, of which she then feels like she's being watched and she's getting phone calls and all the rest of it. And she's scared and she's shaking at every little noise and she's watching her back. And then for some really, really bizarre reason, goes back to Irene's house in the dark. And she's, peering through curtains. I couldn't work out whether it was just the camera angle or someone was watching her through the kitchen window. I don't know about you.
I don't know. I got the feeling that she was on her own and paranoid. But I just didn't understand why she'd gone to Irene's, because I was like, they definitely have that address. They've been delivering boxes there. They've been sent a courier to pick them up when she told him to bog off, didn't she? So they definitely know that that address is tied to her. They don't necessarily know it's Irene's house. They might think it's Marilyn's house.
Well,
so
I think she's
there.
suspecting the threatening calls are coming from a troll rather than Stunning Organics.
Do you think? I don't know. I just think this is really stupid that you've gone to the one place that you know that they've got the address of on your own, and you're sat there like a sitting duck target. I really didn't get this.
Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it? Yeah. And then Rue's obviously ringing her because she's concerned, because Rue knows about all this. And she's like, I'm going to Yabby Creek to meet a friend. You don't know all my friends. Nah. I'm thinking, go back to Summer Bay House and be with Rue. Like,
or at least tell Rue where you are, because if she went missing, and Cash said to her, where was she last time you spoke to her? Oh, she was in Yabby Creek. They'd be looking there, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, this unnamed friend. She survives the night anyway, doesn't she? A stupid girl. And the next day she's working the coffee cart. There's a weird man hanging around looking at her, reading the Coastal News.
Oh, with her face slapped on, Compo face, as Chad says on Twitter. Yeah, Compo face Maz on the front of the Coastal News. Oh dear. Yeah, this doesn't look good, does it?
John's being very John, really good with her, isn't he? But this doesn't look good. There's a bloke watching her. What's this?
I couldn't work out what he was,
here.
because I was looking at him. I was like, he's got quite a smart suit on. He looks a bit smarmy. Is he a lawyer? Is he a private investigator? Is he a hitman? What is he? I couldn't work out whether he was dangerous or whether he's just watching.
Is he completely innocent and like we're just like all on edge here now? Yeah.
Maybe we're just paranoid. Maybe he just fancies her. I don't know. It's very weird.
I did like the John line though. Now either you've just lied to Mr. Stewart or you've been lying to me all morning, Maz. Which is it?
Yeah.
So I feel like John might be in the fold here a bit now, where we're going from here, because
I hope so. Yeah.
Just send the bloody boxes back.
I said this to you the other week, didn't I? I said this on the pod. I said the one person that she needs to go to is John, not Judgy Ruru, not Mr. Stewart. She needs to go to John and tell him what's happened, and he'll help her. Like, he's always no judgment, just cares for her. I think he still loves her, to be honest, but
I do.
That's for another day. But I would definitely go to John. She seems quite reluctant to sort of go to him a lot. I know they're not together anymore, etc. I get that, But he has been the least judgmental, even through all the Heather stuff as well.
Yeah.
He was the
Pride.
least judgmental. Yeah.
Pride. It's all about pride, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm.
And not wanting to go back to your ex because you've messed up and you can't get through life on your own. Silly, silly. But this company seemed like a right old piece of work. If indeed it is Stunning Organics, we're assuming. I think she's assuming it's a troll at the minute.
Okay. I hadn't quite got there. I thought that she thought it was the company, but you're right. It could be some random lunatic off the internet.
Yeah, I think that's what she's thinking. But I mean, like, you'd be questioning things like, have they got my number? Mind you, she'd have been advertising it, wouldn't she?
Yeah, she'd phone me, rep Stunning Organics. It'd be on the internet somewhere.
Yeah, put your order in. Yeah. Right, and we've got time to visit Marley's birthday. I mean, nobody else, no other character has had such a fuss about their birthday. Did you know it was Marley's birthday? It's not been mentioned.
Never heard of that. No, really? When was it?
Must have missed that.
Must have missed that whole 2 hour of talking about it. Do you know the last birthday we had on the show was Jasmine's I Don't Want a Birthday?
Oh, yeah.
That was about a year ago, I think. Ish.
Oh yeah, you're right, aren't you?
That was the last
no other birthday since
last birthday. No one else has had a birthday for the last 15 years. Yeah.
Well, I suppose
this is why none of them age. This is why Mr. Stewart never ages. He's never had a birthday.
Pure waters in the bay. There is. pure. I suppose you could argue that what was Diggy's baby called?
Oh, Grobbit. I can't remember her real name.
No, I can't.
Is he?
Isabella.
Is
literally, like the birthday, like the day of the birth. But
and that's
other
it.
than that, yeah.
Other than that, it's not a day of the week. It's not a year. You don't know what day of the week it is. You don't know what year it is. You don't know what month it is. You don't know what season it is. You never have a birthday. It's never Christmas. It's never Halloween. It's never Easter.
I'm fine with that. Absolutely fine. As long as there's some drama.
Yes, it's just one long Saturday, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that's not the only thing that's not the thing that bugged me about this. I tell you what bugged me was that he receives a present from his sister when he's going up there to Hinky Dinkyville the next day.
Thank you. That really pissed me off. That really pissed me off. I was like, why couldn't she just wait a day and then he could open it in front of her?
And the joy of seeing him open it. Like, what the hell's that all about?
Super weird. I didn't get that either.
I'm
glad you said that, because I was thinking, why would you send a present when you know in the morning he's going to get in the car and drive to your house?
Makes absolutely no sense. All birthday gifts I give out are late. They're never on time.
No.
I'm like, you want it? You can see me.
If they're coming to your house, you just you don't bother. I mean, think about it. You got to wrap it up, put the labels on, go all the way down to the post office. No, it's too much effort. Come on.
And then the post office are on strike. And then
exactly.
Broken Britain and all.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mum doesn't know still. What the hell is that all about?
Unbelievable. That was more unbelievable than the parcel that didn't need to be sent. How does she not know? I mean, I think he said something like, "Oh, my sister just lies and says she's seen me in town." I'm like, but you've been here for weeks, and you kept telling us, didn't you? When he first arrived in the Bay, we're a really close family. We see each other every day. I go around and I help with homework, with his nieces and nephews. So he's not doing that now, and his mum's not sus.
Not that close. If I'm, his mum's satisfied with. Oh, I ran into him on the high street last Saturday.
I saw him at the post office collecting his parcels.
I was coming out of B&M's and
been in Primani and bought a new white t-shirt. Pristine.
There it was at Savers buying some detergent.
It's insane.
It is. It's daft, isn't it?
Yeah. We're not buying it, Marley. We're not buying it.
Max got wind it's his birthday and wants to throw him a party in a roped-off section of Salt. I mean, what more could you imagine? Honestly, that's where I want all my parties.
Right, noted in the book. Okay. Salt rope. I put salt and rope. There we go.
Salt and
Party.
rope. Yeah, not swinging from salt by rope. Should hope. We ever make it to the end of this pod.
Oh, dear.
And John's wangled himself on the invite, providing he's the one, because this is a surprise party. He's got to keep him occupied. He's got to get him there for 7 o'clock. I loved the funny scenes with John trying to keep him on the beach, pretending that he's seen someone drowning.
There's a drowning man. Get in the buggy. Yeah.
Fishing him things out of lost property to try and stall him from going upstairs. Hilarious. Loved it.
I've got you a present. That was so funny. Is it this broken sunglasses with one lens in? Or is it going to be the hat with the bank logo on? Ooh.
But it does turn out it takes more than gelato to woo Marley.
It does, yeah. He's quite clear about that, wasn't he? You have to do more than a free gelato, John.
And I'm not going to lie, it'd work on me, John.
He's not cheap. I know, it'd work on me too. Yeah.
Now,
I think the hat would have worked on me, to be honest.
Where John's concerned, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you go?
I'd go for dinner with John.
Would you?
I'd go for a dinner with John. Wouldn't you go for dinner with John? I think it'd be a laugh.
Not romantically.
No, not. But then I don't think he's going to date Marley, is he? They're just hanging out.
Well, stranger things have happened at sea, and he's a Navy man.
Yeah, that's true.
I bet he's seen all sorts, has John.
Loves the seaman. Anyway. I'm so sorry. It just came out. I didn't even mean to say it. It was meant to be in my head. Oh dear. Oh dear. I swear I've got dirty Tourette's.
I love it. Rose across town has got wind that there's a party. She's got wind.
Everyone's got wind. Mac had wind a minute ago. Now Rose. What are they serving at this party? Jeepers, cauliflower.
Why am I writing all this in my notes?
Oh dear. I know.
She's learned that there's a party and she's not happy. She's not been invited. Xander's like, yeah, you're not invited, Soz, I'm off.
Yeah.
There's a load of drama then. She tries to gate crash it. Bree sort of makes her sit with her and eat pasta instead. I mean, it was really, really uninteresting.
I think you summed it up there.
I'm selling it.
You summed it up. She wanted to go to the party in her cocktail dress to pick up her pizza, pretend she wasn't there for the party. And instead, Bree went, "Oh, you mad cow. That's a bit pathetic. Sit down and have some pasta with me and think about what you're doing." And then after some pasta, she was like, "Yeah, you're right. I was just being a nutcase." So that was it. That's the end of it.
That's that. And then Marley learned, didn't he, that Mac didn't want to invite him. And I don't blame Mac, actually. I don't know about you. I thought, yeah, it's been a bit weird between them. Do you really want that vibe?
No,
I'm
not a party.
Trying to have a roped off VIP party, yeah. You know, like.
Yeah.
So she didn't invite him. Now, I thought Xander could have maybe mentioned it was, you know, a surprise. You know, could have diffused the situation a bit. However, he didn't.
No.
So Marley, who can't rest anyway because, like, he's got to speak to his mum. I mean, he's so scared of his mum. So he goes over there with a slice of cake and hand delivers it. Talk about mixed signals, right? I think I said this to you. Marley's saying to her, "I think I've given you the wrong signals," blah, 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 when he tries to kiss her last week. Or she tries to kiss him. This week, he's leaving his birthday party early to bring her birthday cake. Like, mate, what are you doing to this poor lass?
Yeah, it's a bit off, I think. Because it was Mac, wasn't it? Did somebody say to him, where's Rose or something? And then Mac said, "Oh, I actually didn't invite," because I think Marley said something like, "Oh, I think she must be busy because she's not here," because he doesn't know that she's not been invited. And then Max says, oops, actually, I didn't invite her because, you two, weird, etc. So then he was like, that's all he could think about then, wasn't it? The fact that he knows her so well. He knew that she'd be sat there stewing, that she didn't get invited.
Yeah.
And her brother was there.
Yeah.
So then he's got another thing he's thinking about. And it's a good excuse because I don't think he really wanted the party, did he? So I think it's a good excuse.
He wanted an early night. He's got a long drive.
Yeah.
And he ends up sort of offloading on her that Rose calms down and realises it wasn't Marley who doesn't like her and they are in the same place. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And he ends up offloading to her about, my mum and mummy issues. And I'm not going to tell her. And I'm just going to pretend I'm in B&M's running into my sister.
It is ridiculous, isn't it? If his mum doesn't realise that she's moved away, is she a good mum? I don't know. Like my mum knows everything. I don't even have to say anything if she knows.
They find out. It all comes out in the wash.
They know. They already know. She'll ask me like a probing question. I'm like, she already knows the bloody answer to this. How does she know? They just know. They're born with some kind of like sixth sense. It's scary.
Very scary. So no wonder he's like quaking in his tank top.
Okay, so you're Say on the Bay. Are you ready, Si?
Yeah.
Ready as you'll ever be. I'll be honest with you, I'm not ready. I'm usually a bit more prepared, but this week's been so mad at work. I usually have a little look through social media, look at what people are commenting and reacting and thinking about what's happened in the Bay this week. And I usually get some choice comments put to one side to read out to you, don't I? But I haven't done that this week, so we're going in blind.
Why are you admitting it?
Because it's going to be so obvious that I haven't prepared this. Because I'm going to be like, 1 minute, let me just read this. Is it okay to read out? So yeah, this is your Say on the Bay. So we're both going to be blind reacting to what people are saying on social media this week. So the first topic that we're going to look at is obviously the Andrew story, like the fact that his mum, not his mum, is it his mum, not his mum. People were talking about before we knew for certain that it wasn't his mum. Like we've been told this on the 5-star episode that went out on Friday night at 6:30. But earlier in the week, we thought it was his mum. She turned up at the police station, said, "I'm Andrew's mum. Here's my dodgy ID." And Cash just went, "Yeah, cool. Come around and meet him. I know where he is." And people had a lot to say about that. So as you can imagine, lots of comments on the fact that this was a bit quick, a bit rushed. So I'm going to go on Facebook first of all. So on Facebook, we've got Anne saying they should have done a DNA test. Social services should have been on the case. She didn't even know who Ted was. I don't believe that she's his mother. So people were saying it almost straight out the gate.
It was pretty sus, wasn't it, from the beginning?
Yeah, and then people literally commented saying, so Vanessa said, "I said the same thing in my head. Cash never said anything about a DNA test, checking her background, where she'd been all of Andrew's life." Who else has been commenting? So Tracy says, "I love the story, but I knew as soon as I saw her that she wasn't Andrew's mum. I kept saying there has to be some kind of checks done, and there wasn't." Felicity said, not these Felicity. Felicity said, "Sure, ma'am. Don't worry that he doesn't know you and that you have no proof. You could be Rose West for all we know. Spend a day with his current caretakers and then take him home. Yeah, it's all fine." So Felicity's like being a little bit flippant, but saying exactly what we think. It's just unbelievable that this would have happened. Lorna says, "It was when she didn't know who Ted was that sparked something for me, and I knew immediately that she wasn't his mum." Nick says,
I said the same, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I mean, that is a red flag, isn't it? Every mum would know the name and recognise the beloved teddy bear of the 4-year-old that went missing. If you just would, wouldn't you? You'd keep it. If they didn't take it with them when they went missing, you'd keep it. You'd be holding on to it, and you'd be like, it's your only like link back to your missing son. It's just completely unbelievable that she didn't know his name if she was his mum. So
yeah, Yeah, it's daft, isn't it? Beyond
It's
daft.
mad. Everyone's calling it out. So Nick says it's so unrealistic. There would be DNA tests done in real life. You wouldn't just hand them over. Other than that, though, I've enjoyed the storyline up till now. So people are still saying they're enjoying it. Andrew's great, says Julie. I've been trying to work out what else he's been in. Does anybody know him from anything else? I don't know, actually. Has that actor been in anything else before? I don't know. He might have been in something else in Australia. Maybe we haven't seen it here. Yeah, everyone's saying great actor. Joanne says great actor. Carol's saying I knew it was too good to be true, too quick. Sophie, not me. Another Sophie said, I knew there was something weird about her. How would she not know who Ted was when Andrew said that it was his favourite animal?
Yeah, everyone's on edge, aren't they? Yeah, this is too good to be true. Finding the mum so quickly and sending him off. It was always going to be too good to be true, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, lots of stories. Ridiculous. You would just hand him over to a stranger. I knew it wasn't his mum. They should have done a DNA test. I guessed it right away. You know, there's 100 and something comments and they're all pretty much saying the same thing. So, yes. I mean, is this been done on purpose? Because it feels like a little bit, and I think everyone's saying this, it feels a little bit unrealistic, a little bit ridiculous, a little bit sloppy. Is this on purpose to make us have this reaction and talk about it on social media? Or, you know, if you're writing for this show, I think I would have written it differently, but I don't. Is this on purpose? What do you think?
I've not considered it, to be honest. I mean,
because it's making us all talk. It's making us all talk because it's making us all say, you know, and then even if it's negative, we're still talking about the show.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Is that a deliberate device to sort of spur a conversation? Who knows? It would make sense, I suppose.
Yeah. It's very odd. A lot of people are sort of making the comments that we made a couple of weeks ago. You know, the history of this show is very much to do with fostering, taking in waifs and strays, docs, social services, you know, all of those kids with problems, kids coming from broken homes, kids running away from things, traumatic things happening to them, and the consequences of those, and, you know, helping them get past that, etc. This show's got a massively rich history of all of that, and it feels like this storyline is falling flat for the people that remember those kind of days of when we used to get it right. And it feels
I would say, you're right at this where we're up to now, but what I would say to that is, like, Justin's reaction today. Justin on tonight's episode was like, I feel like I've let him down. I feel like I could have done better. We've not yet. I mean, Leah's conveniently away. Like, how insane. But I imagine that is where this might unravel, is that we need to now see Justin and Leah sort of fight for him.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that will be what distinguishes 2023 Home and Away to 1993 Home and Away, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Everyone's just saying the same thing. So Jamie on Twitter says, can't believe that considering how many cults has been on Home and Away that none of the town's elders are asking any questions. How about not acknowledging the heritage? Yeah, so we talked about that last week, didn't we? We literally talked about the fact that there's been 3 cults, the fact that Leah's been around for at least 1, if not 2. Irene's been around forever, so she remembers the Salt, the original.
Heavily.
Scary. You know, he nicked her baby, for God's sake.
I know, I was going to say. She went back and pleaded him.
Yeah. She begged for baby. I can't remember the baby's name now, but he nicked her baby that she was carrying as a surrogate for Finlay, didn't he? So she remembers, but no one's talking about it. Jacob on Twitter said, I feel Cash should have confirmed Esther's identity before he allowed Andrew to go home with his mum, in inverted commas. And Dame Lady Jazz.
Yeah, she flashed the driving license and off she went, didn't she, or something?
And it wasn't even run in the database. It was just like, oh, here's my ID. They didn't even run the numbers and check that it matched
different
up.
Surname. Oh, yeah, when did you change your name? Just believe everything you say. Yeah.
Bizarre. Really bizarre. Yeah, Dame Lady Jazz says there's no way this woman is Andrew's mum. She's defo from the cult. So, like I say, these were comments from before we knew that Andrew's mum was not Andrew's mum. But people have sussed it, you know. But is this? I'm kind of thinking, is this on purpose? Are we supposed to have guessed it? Is it meant to be so obvious that it's not his mum and that they've cocked up? I don't know.
It's hard to tell, isn't it? We're just gonna have to go with it. But it's
Just go with
hard
it.
to tell whether it's deliberate to make us think a certain way. Like you say, whatever it is, it's got us talking. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the next sort of topic of conversation was about Tane and Kahu, because obviously that was, as you said on the main pod, that took up a significant amount of time, or what felt like a significant amount of time of this week's episodes.
go on. Oh, jeez.
So someone's saying Kahu and Mackenzie should just sail off into the sunset and never be seen again. Rubbish characters. Sarah on Facebook says that Kahu and Mackenzie should just sail off.
Are we watching the same show, Sarah?
I agree with the Kahu, but Mackenzie, is she a rubbish character? Absolutely not in my book, but
I think she's beyond valuable.
That's insane, isn't it? I don't think I've seen many comments going against Mac. When she was going a bit dramatic, maybe, you know, people calling her selfish, and I've seen those kind of comments before.
She can certainly be selfish, but
and she can flip flop from, you know, she's got flaws, hasn't she? She's got flaws. She flip flops from being I'm independent, etc., to needy, pathetic, I need Gabe. And we've said that on the podcast, but I wouldn't say she was a rubbish character. I think she's very complex and quite an interesting character. So that's an interesting comment, really, from Sarah. Not really thought about.
We hear you, Sarah, but we dismiss you.
Don't agree, but it's interesting to hear. Yeah. Debbie says Kahu's been nothing but trouble since he got to the Bay. Bad vibes.
Oh yeah.
And then
want none of that. I said I wouldn't sing. No, don't we?
You can serenade
There's a song
me.
there, isn't there?
You
There's
can
a song
serenade
there.
me. Bad vibes. Bad
What's
vibes.
that song? Don't want none of that bad vibes.
I can't think. I know what you mean. I can't think who it's by.
Don't want none of that. No, none of that. None of that. No, none of that. No.
I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to Shazam it later. So
I'll
let you know who it's by. Marguerite's not happy. Marguerite says it's all getting a bit tiresome now. The storylines are rubbish. Good riddance to Kahu. Too much trouble and dragging Tane into his troubles and bad world.
Good riddance to bad blood. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra, Kahu.
I mean, you were gorgeous, my friend, but
oh yeah. I was actually really looking forward to this. Is what I was a bit sad about. I was actually really looking forward to Kahu. Based on one photo, I'll be honest, very shallow. They shared a photo on, I think it was on the Home and Away Twitter page ages ago for the Australia pace. Just a picture of him saying there's another Parata in town or whatever it was. And I thought, oh, okay, interesting. And then he's been a bit of a letdown, hasn't he?
What a waste.
Not the actor. I'm not saying the actor's not good. I'm just saying the character. I don't like the character. And it's been a bit of an odd ending.
It made him really. You and I were dead excited on a sort of shallow level when he first arrived.
Yeah.
But actually, it made him really unattractive.
It did.
Because he was just a bellend.
Yeah. There's no better way of putting it than that, I think. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, Felicity, not the Felicity, has got another comment to make. Not necessarily about Kahu. Keanu's on EastEnders. I don't know where that came from. About Kahu.
God, don't get us started on that.
Oh, I can't. No, we'll come back to that. Another pod.
Somebody else's pod. Yeah.
Somebody else's pod. Felicity says Summer Bay is turning into Ken and Barbie Land.
Oh.
So is she saying that it's all very pretty people and not much storyline with that comment?
Sounds like it. Yeah, it's not liking all the relationships. We sort of touched on that ourselves last week about these 30-somethings just bed hopping. However, that's very on trend because there's a Barbie movie out, isn't there?
There is. Yes, I'm quite looking forward to that, actually.
Chris said the same thing the other day. He was like, I really want to see this Barbie movie.
I do.
When we're
I think it's going to be
over
really funny.
when we're over at the house, honestly, it's even funnier in Spanish. You got to see the adverts. Hola,
I do.
Barbie. Hola, Ken.
I do want to see it.
Yeah.
I love Ryan Gosling. I think it's going to be funny because he's very good at dry humour.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Ken's
I don't.
going to be a hoot.
But do you think Summer Bay is Barbie and Ken world?
I think that's a little bit unfair.
Hmm.
Not this week, anyway.
No.
Maybe last week when that happened and we slagged it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. And then apart from that, there was a few comments about the whole Marilyn sitch. The whole Marilyn sitch. Mainly just people just being really annoyed that she's got herself into this mess. I think I said this last week on last week's pod. You know, the fact that she didn't want to send the boxes back. She kind of lost some of my sympathy then, because I was like, well, if this escalates now, it's your fault because you've not
everything
sent them
from
back.
this point is because you made a decision on that day. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, tonight a brick came through Irene's window.
I know, right? Going to be fuming about that doll. Fuming. I can't wait.
Listen here, girly.
Got rocks in your head and bricks in my house.
That wouldn't that wouldn't have happened if she'd have sent the boxes back. I don't understand her logic with that.
I don't either. And people are questioning that logic, but they're also questioning the logic of her trying to keep the whole voicemail thing to herself. Oh, don't tell Mr. Stewart. Oh, and Rue's like, let's go to the police station. And she's like reluctant to go to the police about it. And Jamie summed it up for me in one tweet. Jamie on Twitter, Jesus Christ, Chambers, go to the effing police. I was like, yes, Jamie. That is, I mean, come on. People are losing a bit of sympathy with Marilyn here, which is such a shame because she's such a loved character. But then it's that fine line between her ditziness and her being
plain stupid. Yeah.
Because that's what Emma says on Twitter. She's put, how naive or stupid can you be, Marilyn? You've got friends who support you. You're so stubborn.
Yeah, she's not one for accept. It comes back. I said it before, didn't I, in the episode, the main ep. You know, it's that pride that she's got that gets in her way. Yes. And we said it months ago, you know, when she was doing the whole stealing from Yabby Creek and Mad Maz, you know, she was off her meds. And we're like, the pride stops her from accepting help.
Yes.
I mean, and now fast forward 12 months even, it's probably nearly 12 months now from all that. And it's like she's trying to move Alf off because she knows she probably can't keep the act up in front of him.
Yeah.
So she's trying to get him out of town sooner. And she's being daft and she knows it. Deep down, I know she's not real, but deep down, I know she knows she's being silly. Yeah. You know, she's receiving threats. It's frightened her, but she's still zipping around Irene's in the dark. All she's got to do there is water the bloody plants. Like,
yeah.
And yeah, she's, like you say, she's concealing it when actually the more people know about it, the better.
Yeah.
You know, she's lying about where she is. Yeah. I just feel like shaking her sometimes and being like, what are you doing, girl?
If you're in danger, if you think you're in danger, the worst thing you can do is isolate yourself because nobody will know if anything happened to you.
Yeah. Silly girl.
Yeah.
What's she playing at?
Very bizarre. Very bizarre. And then people are just talking about the brick through the window, really, saying how cross Irene's going to be when she gets home. Julie on Twitter said that it made her jump, that she wasn't expecting the brick through the window. So, yeah, not a huge amount on Marilyn this week.
And John's like, I want to stay here. No, you go. Okay, but I'm not happy. But I'll go.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.